Hi there, welcome along to our weekly boxing chat right here on Sky Sports News. I'm delighted to be joined this afternoon by heavyweight contender Frazer Clarke. We've got former apprentice winner Marnie Swindles and our very own Andy Clark. Good to see you all. Let's start with you, Frazer, because you've got a bit of fight news to share with us. That rematch has been agreed with Fabio Wardley for the British title. Date and venue still to be confirmed, but it is on.
Yeah, there's not too much I can tell you, but it's agreed and it is on. It's a question I get asked every day in the street and everywhere I go. When's the rematch happening? I can't give you that information just yet, but we are back on and you guys will get the news very soon.
Excellent. We'll look forward to reporting on that. And we've got to talk about that first meeting because it ended in a draw. It was an absolute thriller. One of the finest British heavyweight contests we've seen in years, would you say?
Absolutely, absolutely, because it was 12 pulsating rounds and the fight toed and froed, and that's what you always want in a really good fight. It ebbs and flows and you're never really sure who's going to get there, and neither one of them had been 12 rounds, let alone the 12 rounds like that. And what they both showed was that they can dig deep and take it right up until the end, because if they didn't have that in them, that dog in them to do that, then one of them would have broken in the second half of that fight, and neither of them did.
Yeah, and Frazer, would you rather there was a little less drama in this rematch?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it just go like clockwork. But you know, this is heavyweight boxing, and it's me as a whole. To be honest, my career is always up and down. It's been crazy since the get-go, since 11 years old. Obviously, we can hope for it to go swimmingly, but you know, this is a heavyweight title fight, and these things, there's always a bit of drama.
And Andy, we touched on it there, the first encounter pretty evenly matched. Both of these fighters will go into it with confidence.
They will, and it'll come down to really, I think, who can maybe make those tactical adjustments, because they've had a really good look at each other now. And as I said, they both know that the other one won't fold under pressure. That won't happen. So it's who can take most from that first fight and just make those little tweaks to be able to exploit what they would see as weaknesses in the other one.
Yeah. Frazer, how much confidence will you take into this rematch?
I take a lot. You know, I think I did a good job the first time. There's room for improvement, which I know now, but I've had more experience. I believe in myself a lot more, you know, after doing that. It's given me confidence. And I'm going in there to do one job, and that's to knock Fabio Wardley out. So winning won't be enough for me this time. You know, I want to put a real job on, but it's going to be a tough task, just like the first one. May the best man win. But yeah, I'm backing myself big time on this one. Yeah,
you've kind of covered it there, but if you had a message for Fabio, what would it be?
You know, I think I grew respect for Fabio from that first fight, so I've not got no trash talk to say here. I think you see two competitors that just want to get the best out of each other and want to get their hands raised. So no real message to him, just a message to the fans really to tune in and enjoy it when it happens, you know.
People are going to love that fight. That fight was phenomenal.
Yeah, there's so many people will be looking forward to it. They really will be. There's lots of other fights to look forward to as well. Frazer, I want to get your take on two of the other big heavyweight showdowns on the horizon. Lots of people talking about Joshua Dubois, Wembley, September the 21st. I think you've sparred with both of them.
Yeah.
Who hits harder?
Oh, there's not a lot between. You know, they're both super heavy-handed. Both great fighters. I think for British boxing, this is massive. You know, the National Stadium. Such a huge fight, a compelling fight as well, because not a lot of people will know, but there's a backstory to these two guys. You know, they've known each other for so long, and then you have the thing that Don Charles has just come in training Daniel. Don Charles knew Anthony before. Anthony, obviously, he's on the new horizon of his career. I'm just so excited. As a boxing fan, this is as good as it gets for me. You know, a lot of questions to be answered, and on the 21st September, all questions will be answered in the ring.
Yeah, and then at the end of the year, December the 21st, another eagerly awaited rematch, Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. How foolish would it be to write off Fury at this point, do you think? Yeah,
that would be criminal, in fact. You know, I was there at the first one, amazing contest, amazing event. And this one, you know, I think now they've both had a look at each other, I expected them both to be better. Even though on that night, Alexander Usyk was quite phenomenal, and Tyson also was in moments. But I think this is going to be the the best fight that we could get second time around. Like I say, they've had that experience of being there with each other. Tyson Fury has something to prove to us all now, which we've seen him do time and time again. We've seen him come back from upsets and being down and out. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, being a boxing fan, This is my real Christmas present,
Yeah.
and seeing the number 2 on this one, I just can't wait for it.
Andy, who will you be backing?
I think after that first fight, I would install Usyk as a favourite just because of the way he won it. I thought he was in trouble at halfway. I thought Fury was doing things to him in the ring that no one had managed to do before. He was imposing the size, and I thought that he might be able to get the stoppage in the second half. But Usyk, he's made of special stuff. They both are, but he managed to grind his way back in, and then he nearly knocked him out, which was not something I would have anticipated at halfway. So I think you would put Usyk in as a favourite, but Fury, I think, looks at that first fight and feels like he let him off the hook slightly, and that if he can take him to that place again and keep his foot to the floor, then he can beat him.
And I think it's fair to say that the heavyweight scene, it's really flourished this year. Obviously, the fight that Frazer's got quite a lot at stake in this rematch because potentially catapult him towards some huge, huge fights.
Absolutely. Look at Dubois. Look at Daniel Dubois. He was set a test against Jarrell Miller, passed it, then got a big fight against Hrgovic, won that, and now he's boxing at Wembley against Anthony Joshua. In that division, you are a couple of wins away from a massive fight at all times. That's just how it is. That's how it's always been at heavyweight. So that is the situation that he's in, and he knows it. He knows it. He's not going to look too far ahead, but he's aware of it.
Yeah. Marnie, let's bring you in now because lots of people will know you winning The Apprentice back in 2023 with that pitch for a community boxing gym that encourages togetherness and collaboration. Bring us up to speed with everything. How is the project going?
The gym is good. We opened last year in 2023. Since then, we've expanded. We've now got a second floor. So we've literally taken Bronx to new heights. My plan for it was to be something bang in the middle between that spit and sawdust, dirt feeling that you get in the amateur gyms, but something that had the sustainability of a business and had a bit of a commercial mindset so that it could sustain itself, because that's one problem that a lot of amateur gyms have. But it's going well.
Yeah, and another problem, I guess, that they have is trying to get women into the gym in the first place, because you kind of touched on it there, what they can kind of appear to be.
Yeah.
You support this No Means No campaign. You run classes to encourage women to take up boxing. What more do you think we can do to make gyms more accessible to women that might find it quite intimidating?
Well, I think for my gym, we have a bit of a head start. Having a woman that runs the gym, knows the gym, we kind of have a lot of women gravitate to us anyway. But I just think getting the message out there that it really is for everyone. It's a huge barrier when you don't know what's waiting on the other side of that door. So if we can just get the people through, just for that first time, see the magic that happens inside boxing clubs, and yeah, I think it will change the game.
Marnie, just tell us a little bit more about your journey into boxing, because I think you moved to London at the age of 18 for university, joined a gym, and then essentially just never looked back, joined back.
Well, I started boxing up north at a local youth boys club, came down to London, started boxing, fought for a while, competed, but it was at a time pre-2012, before women's boxing was in the Olympics. So women's boxing was still a circus act. It was unheard of. Then moved into coaching, then now open a gym. So I've been in boxing through so many capacities and can see the obstacles that women face. Not just women, even people that think boxing is intimidating. We just need to break the ice so that people can see there's more to it.
Was your own experience a pretty positive one then when you were starting out, or is it because perhaps you did have those experiences that you thought, hang on, I need to do something about this?
I was fairly naive. I didn't notice that there was this big gender difference. I sort of walked through the door and thought, I'm going where I want to go, like, who's going to stop me? So walked through the door, and it was only when I was on the other side of it and looking around at 20 guys that looked like Frazer, and I thought, okay, there's a gap here. When I started coaching, that brought more women in, and that was when I thought, you know, I've got a knack for getting women into the gym, and that's how the sort of business stuff started.
And Frazer, we are seeing more women in boxing gyms up and down the country. And how important is it to have role models, the likes of Marnie, as well as like your former Team GB teammates?
It's massive. You know, I've got a young daughter. Not that she's going to be a boxer anytime soon. She's more of a gymnast. But I think, you know, these opportunities for young females to come into boxing gyms and just broaden your horizons, to be honest. I mean, it happened to me as a youth. You know, when I walked into the boxing gym, I was naive to the world, and it just opened up so many avenues for me, and it took me on such an amazing journey throughout my life, throughout my career. And if I can do that for young men, young women throughout the sport, I just think it's a positive for everyone in the community and around, especially these youngsters. You know, opportunity does lack for people. You know, boxing can take you around the world, because it did me, a kid with no real self-confidence, even talent, but you know, with the hard work and with good people around you, you know, amazing trainers, you know, you can literally can go anywhere you want to go in the sport.
Yeah, I have a little 3-year-old as well, and I love the fact that you have the likes of the Lionesses in football. You've got all these amazing boxers, just all these amazing female sports people that they can look up to, and now a gym as well that she can go to.
I think you need to crack the idea that it's just about fitness as well. There's so much love, family, community, just magic. Like the people you meet inside then gyms, just, I owe so much of my life to boxing, so we need to get people through the door so they can see it for themselves.
Yeah. So a final message for any girls, women that are thinking about getting involved, but maybe just have that little bit of apprehension about it.
Bang down the door, walk through it, go through it, you belong there.
Yeah, and Andy, you've been in boxing a long time. How much have you seen that landscape kind of change, particularly for the women's side of things?
It's changed a lot because, you know, back in the 90s, Jane Couch had to take the British Boxing Board of Control to court to be allowed to fight professionally. So, you know, she was the real trailblazer, the real pioneer. And unfortunately, when you're in that position, you're not usually the one that really feels the benefits. But it then did really kick on, as Marnie said, with the Olympics. When female boxing was in the Olympics for the first time in London, it just gave it that much, much bigger profile with fighters like Tasha, with Katie Taylor, with Caressa Shields in the USA. And now it's grown. Yeah, Nicola Adams, of course. And it's grown through the Olympics, where there's more weight divisions now, and they've got parity with the men. And I think it is seen now as a much more accessible sport, a more viable option for females. And that's true across the board, isn't it? You mentioned the Lionesses, and I watched a lot of cricket, watching the 100 the last month or so. It's been great. And sport is for everybody. And boxing is one of the most inclusive sports there is, because you don't have to have money to box. You just have to have the will to do it.
Yeah. Well, this has also been great. We are out of time, though. Thank you so much for joining us, Andy, Marnie, Frazer. All the best with the rematch as well. We'll look forward to getting the details of that. And do remember to download the Toe to Toe podcast. Toe to Toe is back next Tuesday with much, much more.